Steve Washington here with Truthful Hope, and super excited today because we're taking a different direction. Obviously, we like to talk a lot about apologetics. We like talk a lot about the reason for our calling. We like to defend the faith. We like to answer questions, but we also think it's important that we take time and just share our stories, share the stories of others, of how the Lord has actually, worked in all of our lives. For us, apologetics is not just a intellectual exercise. We're not in this just to be biblical theologians of sort, but to truly be able to see and experience, life changing impact in the real world, in our lives, with our families, with our friends, all the things. And so I'm so excited today to have with me a friend of mine and a brother we're in a, we share the same church. We have a few ministries that we're a part of together. And I think he has an amazing story. And I would like to just invite brother Aaron Clarke to the session today. Aaron, how are you today, man?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share my story with you guys and just get into it.
Awesome. Awesome. No, Aaron, we're super, super happy to have you. And you are actually my first guest for the testimony time because I told you this already, but I'll share this just for our listeners. We didn't always obviously know each other. We went to the same church. We have a pretty sizable church, right? And so there's a lot of people you don't necessarily know and meet. But we've seen each other around quite a bit, and fortunately, we were able to go to a retreat together, get to know each other more, and the rest has kind of just been history. So I'll open the floor up, and so Aaron, I guess you could tell us anything you want about yourself. Your family situation, your career, all sorts of things, whatever you feel comfortable with sharing with us.
Well, obviously, you can start from the very beginning, or you can get the Cliff Notes and just give you a quick background.
Yes, sir.
Um, Long story short, or in a nutshell, I live here in Milford, Delaware. I'm married to my wife, Kelly. We have a blended family. I have a 19-year-old stepson and she'll be 22 in a couple of days, stepdaughter, who she is married and lives in Georgia. Then I have a 9-year-old daughter who lives here with us. And my wife just retired from teaching for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Right? First year, not going back to school.
Yeah.
And my current employer is the Maryland State Police. I am a helicopter pilot for them.
Mm.
Have to let everyone know that I am not a police officer or a trooper. I don't carry a gun or a badge. Those guys are in the back. They're my trooper paramedics. I just give them a ride to where they go. And that's what I do now. My previous life, I was in the Army. I
Mm.
retired in the Army after 17 years. I started off, graduated high school, joined the military, joined the Army as a airborne infantryman and a paratrooper. First duty assignment was Fort Bragg, North Carolina, with the 82nd Airborne Division. I did some fun and cool, exciting stuff there. I went to a couple schools. You and I talked briefly. I went to Army Ranger School, which was, they call it the Army Premier Leadership School.
100%.
And
100%.
I just remember being cold, hungry, and tired and going, man, this is hard.
Absolutely.
But hey, something I accomplished at a much younger age, because I don't know if I would put up with all that at this age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So graduated Army Ranger School. I did some stuff in the Army. And then my next big moment in the Army was I applied to the Warrant Officer Flight Training Program to be a helicopter pilot.
Mm.
So I became a warrant officer, became a helicopter pilot. I was qualified in the AH-64D or Delta Apache helicopter.
Mm.
So I was an Apache pilot. Then my first duty assignment was Germany, and 6 months after I got there, it was right in the heart of OIF, OEF, and I deployed to Iraq for 15 months during the surge in 2007.
Mm.
And to be as polite or nice as possible, I utilized my equipment to its utmost capability
Understood.
on numerous occasions.
Mm. Mm.
Saw and did a lot of fun, exciting things, some scary stuff. Obviously, combat's not peace time. So,
100%.
but
100%.
it was definitely a learning experience, and got to fly a lot and do a lot. Got to see a lot of extremely professional people that you're just like, wow, these guys are the best of the best, and got to support and help and work with all of those guys. And then I did 2 tours back to back, 15 months and 12 months, both in Iraq. I've
Mm,
flown that entire country,
mm,
retired, and then I had a pretty cool skill set. I'm a helicopter pilot.
100%.
So I started applying for places that, accepted helicopter pilots. And that's how I ended up applying to Maryland State Police
Mm,
as a civilian helicopter pilot.
mm.
I made it, got hired, and I've been here for 12 years now, flying helicopters for Maryland State Police. And now, instead of shooting people, I do medevac, law enforcement, search and rescue, and I help and support people.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
in a nutshell, that's my background, my history. I have some brothers and sisters. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people that's not super close with my family. I kind of turned 18 and said, I'm going to kind of go do my own thing on my own.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what I did. They're around. Don't honestly know where all of them are.
Yep.
So that's, like I said, we're not super close.
Yep.
Not close with mom or dad, or I had a stepmom and haven't seen or heard from my biological mother since I was 11 or 12.
Mm,
So my family background, I'm like, it's kind of been me since I was 18.
100%.
And now I have my family here. I'm trying to do a better job with them than I had. So
No, no. Well, you most definitely are. I don't know if you noticed or not. My wife works in kids' church, and so she's mentioned you, and she see you picking up your daughter and the whole nine. So no, you're definitely turning a tide on that for sure. Turning a
doing
tide.
my best. It ain't easy.
100%. 100%. And I'll jump right in and pull the cat out of the bag with this. One of the reasons that I wanted you on the show, and as my personal first guest, is because I think it's super important as believers and especially as men to know that, to be able to, or I'll say it this way, to be able to see that the Lord reaches, like, and I know you're going to like push back on this a little bit, but that the Lord can reach like a real manly man, you know. I think oftentimes, we get categorized in the church as like, oh, turn the other cheek and just let everything slide and all that, and then some of that is taken out of context, you know what I mean?
Right.
But to be able to have the Lord reach, you kind of just skirted over your career a little bit, and I can appreciate that, but it's like 12 months in Iraq is no small task. And then another 12 or 15 months over there, just the same. Sometimes we can distort time in storytelling. That happens a lot of times in the Bible too. You'll say, like, oh, he waited on the Lord for 30 years. And it's like, wait a minute, 30 years is a long time. 12 months in combat is a long time, standalone. But then to do multiple tours, um, you know, and I say that to say, you mentioned being an Army Ranger, like that's no small task. And it's like, man, it's so encouraging to me, and I felt it was so encouraging to our listening audience to just be able to see and know that, like, wait, the Lord's reaching guys in Army Ranger school, and he should, but to be able to see that and publicize and still be a man's man and still be an Apache helicopter pilot, you know what I mean? That's a big deal, Aaron, and I guess tell me a little bit about your relationship with the Lord. Like, how did you? It doesn't sound like maybe you necessarily grew up in a really religious home and things.
No. So the Lord was introduced to me at a very young age, but not in a good way.
Mm,
It was the best way, and I've told this story to people in the past as vegetables as a child. It was forced down. So when I was old enough to make my own decision,
no more
uh,
vegetables.
right, no more vegetables, no more
Right,
Jesus, no more God.
right.
Um, my dad at the time, when we lived in Okinawa, Japan, on Sundays, there was because of our Department of Defense, we're on base housing, there was a school bus that would come, or like a van school bus
Mm,
from the church, and
mm,
they would pick up all the kids. My dad didn't go to church. he and his new wife were sitting at home. They're like, we don't want the kids. So the church was our babysitter.
Gotcha.
I was the oldest of, what, 4 at the time. Aaron, take your brothers and sisters, go to church, get out of the house for a couple hours. We want to be alone.
Mm.
So I'd get on the bus and I'd go to church and Sunday school, and do that stuff. But I don't want to do this. I want to play outside with my friends. You don't have a choice. So, like I said, church was forced down my throat, and I had to do it kind of like vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Joined the Army as I got older, when I didn't have to go and I had the choice of my own. Well, I don't want those vegetables anymore. I don't want God or Jesus or church. I've seen enough, and I don't want it. But because I at least had an introduction and knew of it, Vacation Bible School, I tell people, like, I had like a 5th, 6th grade level of understanding of, like, oh, there was David and Goliath.
Right.
And that's about all I knew about David.
Right.
Knew
it existed.
Right. And I didn't know all the other stuff about him
Yep.
till much, much later.
Yeah.
So I knew about that, and I knew there was like an Old Testament, New Testament. That's about as much Bible as I knew. Then I joined the Army, and then I'm on my own doing my thing, where I have now realized, and one of my big things now is I said I all the time.
Mm.
It wasn't until recently, very, very recently, where I'm like, it wasn't always I. He's always had my back. And I didn't know that at the time. That was something that I just recently discovered and understood. So I thought I had everything under control. And then when tested, Army Ranger School was or the military in general, my first duty assignment. This is back in the mid 90s when you showed up. It wasn't polite and nice like it is now. Now they were screaming, yelling, throwing stuff at you, hitting you, I mean, it was tough. So I'm like, what did I just get into? And it's like gang initiation, and nobody wants me here. Everybody's verbally abusing and screaming and yelling, and you're just doing as many push-ups as you can. And yes, sir, no, sir. I don't know what I'm supposed to say or do.
Mm.
And I struggled. I'm 18 years old, just left home, don't know any better. And I was like, this is not what I expected.
Absolutely.
But I actually found the chaplain one day. He came up and he was talking around, and I asked him some questions, and I said, I think I made a mistake. I think I'm in the wrong place. And he gave me a little workbook, a Bible workbook, and I probably spent a week or 2 on it. Things got better. And as soon as things got better, guess what? I don't need the chaplain anymore. I don't need this workbook anymore. I'm good.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Like Jelly Roll song. I only pray when I need a prayer.
Yeah.
So now, hey, I'm high and right. Things are going well. So I move on.
Mm.
Well, then the next time of confrontation, Army Ranger School, this is tough. This is challenging. I'm struggling. I'm cold. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I don't know if I can make it. Hey man, if you're up there, if you say you are, I remember you from elementary school and junior high.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I'm supposed to pray. Can you get me to the next day?
Mm.
And then as we spoke earlier, the chaplain would come on Sundays, and I would be the first one in line going, man, just whatever I got to do to get to the next day. If you can pray for me, and there's 20 or 30 of us there out of 100 people. But I leaned in then, and guess what? I graduated Ranger School. Guess what I forgot the minute I graduated? About God or Jesus or anything. I'm like, I got this. Not he, not we. I got this. I got my Ranger tap. I made it. I'm good to go. Again, moving on, I told you about my anchor points, about times I look back. I did, without going too much into detail, I made a huge mistake and got in a lot of trouble in the military, and was facing basically getting kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I was able to retire and everything. During that time, every day, dear God, oh Jesus, if you could just this one time. Guess what? I retired. I got out. I got a new job. Guess who went to the back burner?
Absolutely.
God and Jesus.
Oof.
So I was that guy that only needed, like, again, the song Jelly Roll, I only pray when I need a prayer.
Yeah.
And he showed up.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to where I am now with my walk. When I get down, when I get discouraged, I think back to those points as my anchor points. It's like, hey, when you've needed him, he showed up. You didn't do this. There's no I anymore. It's he, it's we, it's whatever, he's helping me. it's taken, I'm 47 years old now. And like I said, it was just this year that I came to this conclusion
Mm.
and made this realization, understanding.
And
I am there now.
you mentioned it was just this year. Like, what do you like? What changed? Because you didn't just start going to church this year. If I understand correctly, that was you started going to church a few years back. Started, I guess, rebuilding that relationship. I guess tell me about that.
So my wife and I met in during COVID in 2020, right before the pandemic.
Mm.
About a year later, we had decided that we're going to get married, and we think, new relationship, everything's high and right, everything's good and great. But we both knew, hey, what can we do differently to make this even better? And the one thing missing was we weren't going to church. We didn't have God in our life. So we started kind of church shopping,
Okay.
but very loosely. When I say loosely, we just kind of said, we'll find one eventually, but we talked about it. And then one day her son came home, my stepson,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, hey, I checked this church out.
Hmm.
And she was like, well, maybe I should go check this church out.
Hmm.
So I was at work. So she went to United, checked it out, came home. She goes, hey, I think you'll really like it. It's not what I thought of church, wooden pews, sit up straight, Sunday best, and, don't talk. It was United that we know, much more modern, contemporary church. So I went the next week and we both kind of looked at each other and said, that was pretty cool. We can come back next week.
Hmm.
So we did.
Hmm.
And that was in 21, September of 21. About a year goes by, and I think we went to Growth Track Express and started serving. And now we're leaning in, getting more into it. Then we both made the decision to get baptized. So then we got baptized um, also. And then the more we went to United, the more our lives changed in the way that the friends that we used to have, they
Hmm.
slowly started to migrate to the back burner. We're not doing ungodly things. Now we kind of started off as Sunday Christians. And what I mean by that is we just did church on Sundays, but we
Yep.
still lived our Monday through Saturday life.
Yep.
A couple months go by. Now it's a little less Monday through Saturday to where we are now, years later. Like I went golfing with everybody from the table from Thursday night,
Right. Right.
So my friends now I go on are all from church or we have completely adjusted and migrated towards that, changing our complete lives where we're God centered, focused, and God first in our relationship. And again, even though I was slowly moved, my trajectory or my walk was kind of like a steady climb. Then, as you are aware, that during our retreat 5 months ago, due to again supernatural, we know that He has the ability to do anything and everything.
Yes, sir.
He picked me, man. He chose me that weekend,
Hmm.
and he filled me and flooded me with everything and anything. And I finally decided, or I don't even think I decided. I don't think he gave me a choice to surrender or let go. He goes, I'm taking control, and you're a vessel for me now.
Hmm.
And I let go, standing on the beach. I still can't tell the story without crying because it was so impactful, and it's so, every time I tell people about it, I wish I had the right words. I could invoke the same emotion in them that was placed in me. And it's just the most surreal, supernatural, just unexplainable feeling that I still have. I still get. I still can't put words to it.
Hmm.
Uh, and when that Holy Spirit just flooded through me, it just, it's in me. It's still flowing out of me every minute of every day. It's coming out. I can't control it. It's just coming out all the time.
And what does that mean to let go? What does that mean to surrender in your life? What did you have to let go of? What did you have to surrender?
Doing Monday morning quarterback, or hindsight's like, where was I and how was I,
Mm.
is exactly the thing that I did. I took credit for everything I did.
Mm.
I was the oldest of five when I left. I joined the Army. I became an Army Ranger. I went to Army flight school. I survived combat. I became a pilot for the Maryland State Police. I, I, I. It was never he helped me. It was never, it was I did all this on my own because part of me growing up, I grew up not great.
Hmm.
So I felt that I was the um my own man and I was going to create my own path on my own. I didn't have a wealthy family to support me. I didn't have grandparents giving me money. I didn't have a loving, caring family. I didn't have a support system. I had nothing and no one. I did it on my own. Like Drake, I started from the bottom, now I'm here. I
100%.
did that on my own.
Yes.
So I took pride in not wanting or needing help or support or assistance. I'm like, I don't need this. I got this.
Mm,
I'm a fixer.
mm,
We have a problem at home. Who takes care of this situation? I do. I protect my family. I provide for my family. God wasn't in this at that. Well, stop. God was there. I didn't recognize it.
100%. Yeah.
I was taking full credit for all of this. And then I knew with maturity, with time, with age, with all the things that I had seen and learned that weekend, listening to other people, I realized I'm not alone. And that's when I was like, I really, really did. I went in there with open eyes, with an open mind, and said, whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna allow whatever happens to happen.
Mm,
And you've seen what happened.
100%.
He just completely filled me. And like I said, I don't even take credit for it. When he flooded me, there was no, I don't want this. I can't, I had no choice. He was taking control and did. And I just, oh, okay, I can't. It's not that I can't, he can.
100%.
That's all there is. And he was like, I'm doing this. Roger that. You got this.
You know what's interesting about what you mentioned of just, hey, I'll handle this. I had to carry this. I had the just I lifestyle. Um, I feel like that is just the doctrine that's taught in the world these days. Like if you don't want to be a weak person, if you don't want to just be, a sheep, if you will, or if you don't want to be just like, if you want to get somewhere in life, then everything is up to you. And, I think obviously, like, the Lord very clearly calls us to be good stewards. So he calls us to be accountable and he causes us to be, to play a part. But I think what doesn't get discussed in that, if it's got to be, it's up to me, is how heavy that is. It's a heavy, heavy task to just carry every outcome. And as you know, there's a ton of things that we just can't control. You know,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
um, I don't know. Just was thinking about that. Did that play a part in your surrender or?
Um, it did. During that weekend that we were there, I told you, I've told everyone, I was like, I was a military brat. I was in the military. My brain for the last 47 years is just military, military, military. I got this. But the bigger part of that story is that in the military, one of the things that I did and I continue to do is make sacrifice or self-sacrifice in self-service, put the needs of others in front of my own,
Mm,
always.
mm,
And I use the example that people sometimes will say, well, can you explain what that means to you? As a man, as a father, as a husband, it's simple. When if there's danger, you're walking down the street. Do you step in front of your wife and children to protect them? Of course you do. Without even thinking. You put their needs ahead of your own, their safety ahead of your own. You just step in front. When you go out to dinner, who orders first? Your wife, the kids. You put them first. That's just instinctual, selfless service. Them before you.
mhm,
Now, one of my character flaws is I'm an all or nothing person.
mm.
Unfortunately, I'm working on it,
Yeah.
but it's all or nothing. So that putting others in front of me, serving the country, flying for MSP, putting the needs of others in front of my own, missing birthdays, holidays, picking a career where I'm not home, even at the table, hey, these guys need God before me. You know what? If there's a line for Jesus,
mm,
I'll stand at the back of the line and put these guys in front of me first.
mm, mm,
Um, so I got this for now.
mm,
I don't need, so they need it.
mm.
I got myself. I'm good.
Right. 100%.
you know.
100%.
So, but part of me during that letting go or um surrendering was saying I battled, and I told you I battled on Friday. And I was like, well, I think I want it to be my turn.
Mm.
And then that bled into Saturday, and that feeling started creeping in more and more and filling in. It's like I kind of want to raise my hand and go, hey, can it be my turn?
Mm.
I'm kind of tired of waiting.
Mm.
Now, hindsight again, I'm putting earthly restrictions on Jesus.
Right. Right.
Right? I'm like,
Right.
hey, you can't handle me because you're handling them.
Right. Right.
And at that time, that's exactly what I was doing.
Mm.
You can't handle me with them. I'm going to let you handle them first.
Mm.
Sounds silly saying it out
No,
loud,
I
but
get
that's
it.
what I
I
was.
get it.
So that's what I was doing. And I was like, I'm good. I got this. Take care of them first. But I felt selfish for wanting to be at the front of the line. I felt, like I said, it went against every fiber of my being of not being selfless. I was being selfish,
Mm.
asking to be at the front of the line.
Phew.
Well, then it was hard, very hard to go, okay, it's my turn. It's like taking a compliment. A lot of times we're just like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Don't. I wanted to be in front. I'm like, this feels awkward. But standing on the beach that Sunday morning, the sunrise, it that's when it just, all right, I let go. Like I said, I don't even think I had a choice.
100%.
But
And
um,
what did you want from the Lord? Like, what did you feel like you needed? What is it that you were looking for from
didn't it's simple. I didn't want to say I anymore. I didn't want to be alone.
Mm.
I didn't want to feel the pressure of having to let my family down, let myself down.
Mm.
I didn't want to say, I got this. I'm like,
Mm.
can somebody just help me?
Mm.
Can I just can I lean on a shoulder? Can a brother, lean on me? I've heard the song, I sing it. Can
100%.
I lean on you instead of always people leaning on me?
Mm.
Can someone just support me and help me? I can't do this anymore.
Mm.
Can he do it?
Mm.
1000% he has. And then I look back, I'm like, oh, he didn't just do it this weekend. He's been doing it all these other times. I was just too blind to see it at the time and too selfish and ignorant and cocky as machismo. I'm an Army Ranger.
Sure.
I'm a single dad. I got this. I'm taking care of my daughter. I don't need anybody. Yeah. My wife tells me all the time, she goes, how's that working out for you?
Mm.
Why are you so mad? Why are you so angry? Why do retaliate so viciously? And I'm like, because I got this. No, I don't.
That's the
He
that's
does.
the that's the backside of having to be in control, having to do it all. You know what I mean?
Right.
And no, I'm telling you, because I have obviously I was never in the military. I was never an Army Ranger. I don't fly Apache helicopters, although if the opportunity comes about, maybe. But I can completely relate to that control aspect of it. That's the backside of it that nobody ever talks about, is that it's so heavy and it comes out. Look, I grew up, and this is your testimony, why I'm sharing mine, but I
No,
grew up without a lot of, I didn't have a father in my life, and I grew up in a lot of poverty. And I'm like, man, I got to get from out of this situation. And I grew up as a Christian and as a believer, but it was still like, man, I gotta. There's certain things I gotta put on my back. I can't
right.
put it on his back. But the cost of that pressure, it'll kill you, or it'll kill you slowly, and it'll come out in the form of vices. And I've found that to be time and time over and over again. Some of the toughest guys I feel like I've ever been. I'm like, man, how's this guy so tough? And I find out that he ain't that tough. You know, he's just dealing with it in another way that you ain't seeing.
Right.
And without us surrendering and relying on the Lord for that, we got a problem.
Right.
We got a problem.
And I can tell you as you know, the walk that, that I'm still learning every day, and I know we'll continue to learn, is it's never over. You don't ever attain a goal and like, all right, I'm good now. Here's where you don't plateau or stop. It's a constant
100%.
uphill, yeah, learning, growing, evolving. There's no, all right, I've made it to where I need to be. I'm good. I'm done.
Yep.
No, you're not good.
Yeah. A-
You got to keep getting better.
Aaron, no, you're 100% right about that. You're 100% right. It's a continual growth. Just the difference is like we're supposed to, the Bible talks about resting in him. Bible talks about, take my yoke upon you, for my burden is easy, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. In
Right.
other words, it's like, man, you don't have to carry this thing in the same way anymore. Even Paul talks about how God's strength is actually like the only time that we'll be able to see his strength really shine is in weakness, which is crazy. It's not until, you know, like all bets are off, nothing else I can do about a situation, then that's when the Lord shines or whatever. And no, Aaron, I'm super excited about what the Lord has done in your life. It's very evident. We go to a pretty, for our listening audience, we go to a pretty sizable church. And, Aaron probably wouldn't say this, but everybody has noticed the change. Everybody has seen it. And, we're all so proud and excited and a little jealous or whatever of what the Lord is doing in your life. And it all came from a place of deep surrender. And I think
There.
that's huge. I think that's super
Yeah.
huge.
Wasn't like I said. I mean, again, when I say I know now that I can't even take credit for what happened because, like, I don't think I had a choice. I mean, you can say I surrendered. I say God came and just
100%.
took over and is like, you
100%.
don't get a choice in this. Is the way I feel. It's like
Yeah. You
you're
know what
right.
you
I don't
needed.
have a choice.
100%.
So yeah, he came in. Like I said, Jesus threw a fire hose, man. That's what that weekend was, and just I don't like I said, I can't even try to say I let go and surrender and get he just took over.
No,
So but
that's
hey, he knows what he's doing better than I do, and it's
100%.
proof in it. Proof is in the pudding.
100%. 100%. No, I super love it. I super love it. Any final thoughts or anything that comes to mind of something that you want to share, maybe thinking about, you have a unique story, as far as your upbringing, as far as your career, as far as just, a lot of things. If you could maybe uh go back in time and there was something that you could tell younger Aaron, Aaron that was,
Invest in Apple.
it's,
Invest in Apple.
well, after that, that's good. That's super good. Is there anything that comes to mind, or thinking about some of your other brothers that are in the service? You know what I mean? Like there's combat taking place, as you know, that we don't even know about. Like is there just something that you would share with them as far as that now?
The only and again, it comes down to it's not even just military or service or being the manly man or any of that. It's just you have to. The one thing I would tell myself and anybody, any man, doesn't matter what age, is you have to learn not to say I. That was the thing that, again, that's the theme of everything that changed for me is I kept saying I.
Mm,
I would take credit for all my accomplishments. I would blame myself for my failures or any failures. It was always I was very self-centered, just thinking I, and it didn't matter how small or how large. I would go back to me and say, "It's not you. It's if anything, God is helping you. Let Him help you. Don't be so cocky to think that you can do it all on your own. We even did a demonstration of holding a sword up with the other people with fingers. Accept that.
mm, mm,
I can't, and again, a phrase, simple phrase. I can't, he can.
mm, mm.
Get that in your mind early. I can't, he can. It doesn't matter what the situation is. I can't, he can.
Wow.
And that's the one thing I would just share with anyone and everyone about everything. When you feel pressure, when you're just beating yourself up, I can't do this.
Mm,
He can.
mm,
It doesn't matter what. Like I said, I can't complete this task. I can't do this on time. I can't carry this load. You're beating yourself up and you're mad, you're angry, you're lashing out. I can't. You don't have to. I can't. Admit that, accept it, and say, he can.
mm.
But,
That's so good. That's so good. No, that I get it. I caught the theme. Uh, Letting go of the self-reliance or whatever.
right.
Putting our faith in him, resting in him. That's so
Yes.
good. That's so good. Or if you don't, you can go through years of strife and struggle.
Yeah.
And, and
And
it,
get angry and get mad. And,
100%. 100%. No, I love
but,
it. I love it. Aaron, I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate the opportunity for you to be able to share your story, your testimony, and things with us. I know it'll be a blessing to a lot of men. And yeah, we look forward to even having you back on. There's more stuff in there. Especially just some of that combat time and some of that reality of being able to face life in a whole different way than most people will ever have the privilege to and honor to be able to do. So we do thank you for your service. I didn't say that up front. But Aaron, again, we thank you so much. And to our Truthful
yep,
Hope
yep.
audience, really appreciate you all tuning in. Many more shows to come. I thank you very much and have a great day.
No, thank you.
Of course.